An Irish fairy tale about a fairy fort, a cursed family, a brave farmer, and cat murder. Decapitation, actually, but we'll get to that part. It's called this, and it means Seán of Bánóige, which is a place in Ireland. There's this man named Seán O'Shea, and he's got a wife and kids, and he's poor. One day he goes to his wife and he's like, we're not gonna survive. I need to go out and find work and I'll send any money that I get back to you. And she's like, no, don't leave. What do we do without you? And he's like, you'll be okay. The older kids will help you with the farm. I see no other choices. He walks until he gets to Cork Harbor, and then he finds the ship captain who is willing to take him on for free if he just works on the ship, to go to Loch Lane, which is the old Irish way of basically saying Scandinavia. It means land of the lakes. Seán's super grateful to the captain, says he'll pay him back later, and then he arrives in Norway or some fjord land country. He travels along and then finds this small little poor looking hovel shaped like a mushroom. And he's like, whew, they won't be able to help me much, but I gotta try. So he knocks on the door. Inside are two old men who are shriveled and covered with beards and raggedy and had prominent teeth. One of the men is immediately, oh, Seán O'Shea from Bánóige, welcome. And he's like, oh my God, how do you know my name? They don't answer him, but they're like, come in, stay, you're welcome here. There's also a woman in the house who is as dirty and shriveled and hairy as the men, and her two front teeth reach the floor. She looks at Seán like she doesn't like him and doesn't speak to him, but she still brings all the food when her brothers, because we found out these are two brothers and a sister, request it. Seán stays with them for a couple days, and only the one brother ever talks to him. Like I said, the woman doesn't, and neither does the other guy. One day they're out walking and he notices another smaller hovel that has a flagstone that's like a door and like a brass ring to pull on, and he tries to pull on it, but he can't. And then he doesn't think about it again, but it'll be important later. Seán goes hunting with the one guy who will talk to him, and they can't find any birds or any rabbits, anything, until they finally see a giant mouse, a mouse the size of a cat. And the weird brother shoots it, and he's like, all right, we got some meat for dinner. They go home and the sister gutted the mouse, skinned it, got it ready for the pot, and they all sit around to eat this cat-sized mouse. Hungry though he was, Seán was slow to eat the flesh of a mouse. Understandable. But he doesn't want to be impolite, which is super important in all of Irish folklore, most folklore, and so he eats the mouse. Then once he's eaten it, he's like, oh my God, you guys, I suddenly know where all the treasure is in all of Ireland. Like that info just popped into my head with eating the mouse. And the brother's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, here, take some of the soup of the mouse. So Seán drinks it, but then once he does, he forgets everything he just knew. And he's like, by the dickens, I'm blind about the treasure now. And the brother's like, yeah, I did that for you. You're welcome, because that knowledge is not good for you to have, and it would have brought you to the gallows. Trust me, you're better off. And Seán's like, I don't know if I'm better off. And he's like, okay, well, look, I'm going to help you. We'll never be poor again if you do a favor for me. And get ready, it's a long, complicated favor. The old man's like, okay, I know that there is a lis on your farm, and a lis looks like Leos, but the Irish pronunciations are telling me it's lis. Could be a ring fort, an earthwork enclosure, or an old fort, sometimes called a fairy fort. The old man's like, all the money you ever need is hidden in that fort. But here's how you get it. When you go home, you need to get a big basket of turf and light it on fire. Then get a quarter of mutton and roast it over the fire, leave it next to the fire, and then hide. Then a giant cat is going to come out of the fort to eat the meat. After it eats the meat, it's gonna take a nap. And once it's asleep, you need to go and cut off its head with an axe. And then you have to grab the head and make sure it doesn't reattach with the body. Then the house structure of the list will materialize. Go inside, and on your left, you'll find a room with a mirror, a piece of soap, a razor, and a towel. I need you to gather all those things and bring them back to me. You can't forget one of them. Then turn to your right, and there's a room in the southwest corner where if you pull up this flagstone, you will find 3 jars of gold, and that is for you. Then you have to come back to me and bring me the towel and the razor and all that. Seán's like, okay, but I don't even know how I'm gonna get home because I don't have any money to get home, and I don't think the captain's gonna give me the same deal again. And the guy's like, oh, remember that flagstone you couldn't pull anything out of earlier? Take me over there. And so he carries the man over there, and it's funny because the man's like, you need to carry me. And he's like, you could walk fine yesterday. And he's like, I wanna be carried today. Even though Seán couldn't pull the flagstone out, this man can. And so when he does, there's 1 jar of gold that helps him pay the captain back and get back home. He reunites with his wife and kids who are overjoyed to see him, and then he goes to work. He gets the axe, he lights the fire, he roasts the mutton, the cat comes out, it's a giant weird cat. He chops off the cat's head, and the head like tries to bounce back to the cat, so he gives it a good crack with his axe. Like I imagine him hitting it like it's a golf ball with a golf club, only it's the axe, and sends it sailing. And then the spell breaks and he can go inside the house. All of the items are there, like the dude said. He gets him the soap and the razor and the mirror, and then he gets himself the 3 jars of gold. Gives it to his wife, and she's like, oh my God, we don't have to suffer in poverty anymore. And he's like, I know, but actually I have to go back to Norway. I'll be back. So he has to keep his word. He shows up at the hut with the 3 old people, and they're like, we knew you'd keep your word. And he's like, yeah, I'm here with all the stuff. The old man who always talks to him says, okay, I want you to shave me with all of that shaving stuff. And he's like, okay. So guy sits down and Seán shaves him, but when he does, he magically transforms to being 30 years old. All his wrinkles and his scraggly hair, it all melts away, and he's like a handsome, fine man, specifically of 30. The other brother comes up to Seán and he's like, I know I haven't spoken to you up till now, but like, could you do the same thing to me? And Seán says, yeah, I'd love to clear the old feathers off ye. He does the same thing for him. Then the woman is like, hey, could you do it for me? And both of the brothers are like, you were rude to him. You never talked to him. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm sorry. I mean, they didn't get mad at the brother for never talking to him. Don't know why they're being so hard on her. But anyway, he goes and shaves her, and she becomes the most beautiful 30-year-old woman. I guess they're triplets. Then they tell Seán, we've been under this spell for hundreds of years. The only thing that could ever save us was the stuff in that list by your house. So thank you. And if you're like, what a coincidence, they attribute it to God, that God sent him to undo their spell. They build up their little hovel to be a nice house, and Seán is so happy with them that he stays with them for years. Don't know how many years, but he goes out hunting every day with the men, and the beautiful girl with her fine yellow hair cooks meals for them and is pretty eye candy. And it says those are the best years of Seán's life. Like, I wouldn't tell your wife that. He does eventually go home to his family, and the fairy people give him even more money. So when he arrives home, he's got all this wealth. He buys a new farm. His family lives comfortably for the rest of their lives. Like most Irish folklore, this story is about how courage and keeping your word will benefit you. So behead that cat and eat that giant mouse. I honestly don't think I could do either of those things. Yeah, actually, if someone was like, you'll never have to worry about money again if you chopped off this cat's head with an axe, I don't think I could do it. I'd eat the mouse, though. I could stomach that.